I'm a Yankees fan, and I would get notifications from all the reporters. And then you learn that there's these like independent creators, one of them being Jomboy. First of all, this guy's awesome. Second, I think I have some of the skills that he has. So I'm like, let me actually start using these social media platforms for myself and start posting during Yankees games. So then in 2019, I was like gaining followers in a hurry just from doing like game tweets and funny like edits. My like big thing that first helped me get into like the Yankees surface was I did like a full house like with all the players from 2019. I made it in like a full house intro with like all the best gifts and stuff.
Mm.
And that was when Jimmy like noticed me. That was August of 2019, and he was like, "This is awesome." Um, and I was like, "Hey, if you're ever hiring, like, I would mop the floors. Like, you'd let me know." Like, he was like, "All right, well, we're really small right now. Like, it's kind of just me and like my friend and my brother." Um, and one thing led to the next, and in 2020 January, Jimmy posted on Twitter that he was hiring, and they got this little office in the Bronx. And I basically just applied like anybody else would, but I knew that he knew who I was. Jake emailed me. That was like surreal because like I didn't miss any of their content by that point. I listened to every single Talking Yanks episode, and every Talking Baseball had just started.
Mm.
And they were like, "Yo, why don't you just come by the office?" It was basically just like show us you're like a normal person in real life. I mean, we know you from Twitter, and we'll let you know how you can help us. And they were like, we're still new, we're only hiring people for like hourly pay, it's not like a salaried position, and here I am like a full-time worker in the SID world. So I'm like, oh man, like, okay, this is going to be risky, but I believe in everything these guys are doing. So I just up and left my full-time job and started hourly with Jomboy and went crazy with the social media. And that's when COVID hit. So that was weird times, but ended up being I don't want to call COVID a blessing in any way, but for our surface, like everybody was still looking for content online. So um, they ended up being kind of working out for us. Like obviously there was no sports, but people were still looking for online content. And the athletes were looking to be in the content, and things ended up working out for Jomboy. One thing led to the next, and now we have this whole crew of people, and I'm the director of social media, so it's like having fast.
I
But
was about to say, and now it's just like a straight content house. I mean, it's no
yeah,
longer just baseball. Like there's so many different offshoots that y'all are doing now. Uh,
yeah,
Tell me a little bit of about like, because I mean, you've been in it, since the early days, the pre-COVID days. So
yeah.
tell me about that explosion in John Boy content and what it looked like from your perspective on the social side.
I honestly think that I came in like after John Boy already laid the groundwork. I mean, the breakdowns were like the big thing that took him from just like this Yankees guy to like a national baseball guy, and even a guy that other sports fans who don't even really enjoy baseball were taking a liking to. So I came in after that, and I knew from square one, like this is going to be something that continues to grow. It's just a matter of when we felt like doing it and when we felt like adding more people. Um, but it has really helped. I think I've helped us become more of a brand instead of just John Boy, because we didn't really have, when I started, branded social media accounts. It was basically just Jimmy's account and Jake's account and the John Boy Media YouTube, but we didn't really have like an Instagram that was the brand, like John at John Boy Media and at Talking Yanks and at Talking Baseball, and we didn't have those Twitter accounts were smaller. So I've taken a lot of pride in making sure that people recognize the brand. And some people are like, well, I know what John Boy Media is, but who's the guy behind all this? Whereas you really want your personalities to be known, but just having a brand that people recognize just based off the logo is super important too. So, like I said, when I came in, the groundwork was already laid because the breakdowns were getting millions upon millions of views.
Hmm.
but it was just a matter of when we wanted to get bigger and when we wanted to hire more people who were going to do what I did. And I think I kind of helped with all that because it was like, okay, we could bring more people on and lift them up from our branded platforms now that those exist, because it would have been really hard for just Jimmy to be like, hey, look at my friends.
Yeah. Yeah, I was about to say, so like tell me a little more about that and like why, in the kind of, saturated like social media environment, why is it important to have like a brand and a brand message?
Because like I said, it's all about recognition. It's like everybody knows what Bleacher Report is,
Mm,
but you don't have to know that who the writers are and all the other content. It's just like I see Bleacher Report, I respect it. I know that they're in this world and it's going well for them. So anything they post, I should be taken seriously. Any accounts they have, I should just click the follow button because I know it's going to be pretty good. It's going to be reliable. It's not just some joke. I think that's what's important to have established for Jomboy Media, because you want people to see it, be like, okay, I may not love everything about it, but they're respectable and their pages are worth following. Whereas when you have just one guy like Jimmy, it's like, okay, well, this is just some guy. It's like, yeah, I like his content, but why do I care about everything else they're doing?
mm.
And I think that's when having a respected brand as opposed to just having one respected person becomes so important.
So tell me a little bit about the team that you work with right now and what your sort of like walk into the office process is on a regular day.
Okay, so I am the director of social media, and there's currently 7 of us on the social media team at John Boy. That's fluctuated a little bit. People have started with the social team and assumed another role at the company, or people have started with the social team and gone on to bigger and better things. Um, so we've been anywhere from like 6 to 10 people over the last like year and a half. And for the first like 2 years of me being at the company, it was really just me. And then it was like, okay, well, this stuff is really getting big. Let's get you some help. And I brought in the person who was doing social media for the Diamondbacks, somebody who's doing social media for the Orioles. We've recently brought on someone who was with Barstool before. Um, we have interns that are still in college, but they love it so much they kind of work for us as much as they possibly can. Um, we have people who are just diehard Yankees fans, and they were kind of in the Yankees Twitter world the same way I was. And we were like, okay, you clearly get what's going on, so let's bring you in. And our day to day is pretty wacky. It's tough to describe, but we all have different shows that we are associated with. We know that we have to promote like said show. So somebody's got Talking Baseball. When the show comes out, they say, all right, new show. And they have to clip certain parts of the show and post it. Um, or there's like Jolly Olive we have, and he does all these baseball trivia videos. We have editors take parts of his videos and repurpose them for socials. When the editor's done with that, I take it and I schedule it out, or I just post it right away. Jimmy's breakdowns, I help him upload those. He just does them, sends them over to me and says, hey, you know what time is best and you know how to title it and do the description. So you just post it whenever you think is best. I'm like, all right, I got it. And the other part of it that's big is we do shifts. So that way somebody from our social team is online at all times, ready for things to happen. So right now is obviously a little wacky with the playoffs. Um, we have 2 people on a shift because we want to make sure that we're covering the playoffs to the best of our ability. And then if anything else happens, whether it's breaking news in baseball or something crazy like Monday Night Football, we have enough people online who are ready to go. And so like last night, for example, we had two people on the game, the World Series game, and then they were also keeping eyes on Monday Night Football and waiting for anything to happen. Like the James Harden trade happened at 2 a.m. So it was
Mhm.
like, okay, post away. Um, and then I actually was covering the live stream. So we're doing a live stream for every single baseball playoff game. And I was recording as Jake and the gang were live streaming and clipping up their reactions to different plays. So we do a lot. It's crazy, but it's sort of random and really hard to describe in just one
Yeah.
fell swoop.
No, that's really interesting about the shifts because I mean, and because everything's so variable, right? And especially
Yeah,
when you get into like the World Series and there's major events when you know everyone is going to be on social, you want to make
yeah,
sure you have people there. Um,
yep.
so what in your eyes does success for John Boy on social look like? Like what metrics are you looking at? Um, and how does that tie into just social success, but also just success for the brand as a whole?
So it's followers is first and foremost, subscribers, and that comes from your likes, your comments, your reposts, your shares. But it has to happen in a way that it's not people just wrecking you. Now that happens because it's the internet. So we cannot, the bigger we get, the more this happens. And you pretty much cannot post anything without upsetting someone. They think you hate their favorite team. They think you've offended someone, whatever it may be. It's like you could say, look how beautiful, this lovely couple is, and they're like Yankees themed Halloween costume. And it's like, yeah, but the team sucked this year. It's like, we know, we're aware. Yeah,
People that are just chronically online.
yeah, exactly. So there's that part of it, but you kind of try to brush that off as best you can and realize that you're making 99% of people happy. So you can't let the 1% get to you.
Mhm.
But that's first and foremost where it starts. It's followers, it's likes, it's comments, it's reposts. And truth be told, it is a business and we have to feed ourselves. So you try to think of all the different avenues where you could bring in revenue. And we always say that the way that you can sell on social media and all your platforms is based upon how large your floor is, because you have to tell the brands that you're selling that want to advertise with you, hey, we're going to guarantee you this many engagements on a post. All the different platforms have a button you can hit and it says how many people have seen it. And
Mhm.
then that's what the advertisers want to know. How many people are seeing what you're posting? And now you might have something blow up, and that's really good for followers because you're going to have people latch on and now they're going to be here to see the rest of your stuff. But that's not what you can tell the brand, like, hey, this might get 1 million views. It's like, no, 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 we could guarantee that this is going to get 100,000 video views on Instagram. And that's what's kind of most important, because of course it's a business and you can't just do things for free. Where at some point we're gonna have to buy ourselves a meal.
Exactly.
uh, so as much as people hate ads and stuff, it's like, hey, if you like the rest of our stuff, I hope you know that this kind of has to happen if you want it to keep going. Like that's, we can't just do this for free. At some point we have to, you know, feed ourselves. So um that's really it, man. It's that simple. It's how many followers are we getting, how many views, how many likes, how many comments. And when you see one thing do well, you keep doing it. When you see something flop or upset people, it's like, let's not do that again.
Yeah. Yeah. So off top, do you have any like big wins that you can point to, or like campaigns or content that stick out in your mind as being super successful at hitting those key metrics?
So obviously the breakdowns are the cream of the crop at
Mhm.
Jomboy. That's kind of what everybody knows us by. If you don't like anything else, you like the breakdowns. People who hate sports like the breakdowns. People who think baseball is boring don't think the breakdowns are boring.
Mhm.
So that's the cream of the crop. Those do not miss really ever. Um, and we can show those on every single platform. We've recently started turning the longer breakdowns into like 30 to 60 second TikToks and
Mhm.
sharing those everywhere. The other thing is like you just sit and wait for moments. So we interviewed Aaron Boone this year. Obviously, those never miss. People
Mhm.
love to comment on what the coaches of every single sports team to ever exist have to say. So those were awesome all year long. As much as people were critical of the way we talked to Aaron Boone or critical of the things he said on the show, we could post what he had for breakfast and people were going to go crazy with it. That said, you kind of never know what's going to be your big win. So this year, when Aaron Boone's camera zoomed out and it showed him sitting crisscross applesauce while he was talking to us, it was like, I did know that people were going to really enjoy that because, like I said, they enjoyed everything he did and said, or hated, I should say. But you never know what it's going to be. So it's like you have to shoot and keep shooting and shooting and shooting. And like I said, if people hate it, you just don't do it again. But it's better to try than just not post at all. And we posted Aaron Boone sitting crisscross applesauce, and that ended up getting like millions of views across platforms. And it's like that just goes to show you you never really know what your wins are going to be, but you're not going to get the wins if you just don't try at all. So you can't like look at a post and be like, I don't know about this one. It's like just post it, just go for it. Recently, I have gone away from just saying that Jolly Olive has a new trivia video out. It's like, okay, how can we get people to engage with these announcements that a new video is out? And I've given people a trivia question on socials to engage with. And it's been like, oh, and by the way, we have this video that goes along with this trivia question. You could play along with us. And there's a button that shows you how many people click on the link that you put in the post. So it's like a big one recently was, can you name someone who's been a teammate with both Zach Greinke and Max Scherzer? And that got thousands of comments. People were like, well, obviously Clayton Kershaw and obviously Justin Verlander. But then other people had fun with it. And it was like Patrick Corbin, because like, you know, he was young on the Diamondbacks. And he was on the Nationals. And anyway, because I got so many comments and so many likes, so many people also clicked on the link and went and watched our YouTube video. So it's always about how can we do more? It's like, yeah, it's nice to tell people that you have a new video out, but how can you get people to engage with that post instead of just seeing that post and like not engaging with it at all?
Yeah, no doubt. You want to talk strategy real quick by platform because they are very niche and come with different sets of circumstances. So, running through, I mean, obviously X, Instagram, but TikTok is one that's kind of exploded since you've been there. Tell me about the different strategies for those different platforms and what you've kind of seen so far.
Yeah, so I always say we have 6 platforms that we really hone in on. And it's TikTok, Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and then the other one is Threads, which like hasn't really become a thing. But I always say, let's just keep posting on it. We don't have to take it that seriously, but I would hate for it to become a thing and then we were just never using it and then we're behind on it. Anyway, so really what it is Twitter is obviously your big news one. Everything and anything could go on Twitter, whether it's a player getting injured or you have a new podcast episode you just dropped. That can all go on Twitter. Instagram is sort of similar in that you could just spam links in your stories and you can post news on your feed or reels on your feed. Whereas the other ones start to get a little bit more niche. It's like you could post highlights on your TikTok, but then everyone's going to love that and they're going to bury your original content. So I'm like, let's just keep our TikToks to our original content because that way, if people like it, they're going to keep getting fed our original content, because that's how it works. TikTok's all algorithm based, and they're only going to feed people the things that they want to see. And if they sense that people don't like it, it's just not going to get views, which in a way it's better, because then you don't get a bunch of comments like, what the hell is this? Like, you kind of get that on Twitter and Instagram because people are going to see it if you post it. On TikTok, they'll just bury it. And it's like, okay, I guess
Mhm.
that, I guess people don't like that one.
Keep moving.
Yeah, keep it moving. Facebook is really odd. Obviously, it's a different audience. It's kind of an older audience, but it's important to hit every single age bracket and demographic. So we understand that we can't just tune out, the 45 and older crowd. It's like we might as well just keep posting on Facebook, and people love it. That's for news. People love the breakdowns over there. Facebook is really trying to get into the reel, the
Mhm.
shorts world. So some of those do pretty well. YouTube is our bread and butter for like longer shows. So like I've been bringing up a bunch. It's the Jolly Olive trivia videos. Obviously, the warehouse stuff we're doing
Yeah.
is biggest on YouTube. We have now like 250,000 subscribers on that. Whereas it's kind of harder to get people to enjoy the shorter warehouse stuff. But that's been working a little bit too. We're up to like 115,000 on TikTok, and those will get millions of views
Yeah.
sometimes. And it might be like, who the hell are these grown gym class heroes? And it's like, that's all right. We know we're just messing around. We're not trying to act like we're headed to MLB because we're throwing a plastic ball. It is just dumb. We agree. Um, but it's crazy, man. You just got to make sure you're not absent on a platform. It's like you see people and they're just on Twitter, and it's like, well, why are you just on Twitter? You might as well post on the other platforms too, man. Like, you're limiting yourself.
Mhm.
Uh, or they're just on Instagram, and it's like, well, you should be posting these videos on TikTok too. I mean,
Mhm.
what are
And
you
they're
waiting?
the same format anyway.
Yeah, it's like, what are you waiting for here?
Mhm.
Might as well toss them on YouTube Shorts, because you never know what's going to work over there too.
Sure.
Uh, so it's all about making sure that you're hitting every demographic, every age bracket. Are you in the long form game? Are you in the short form game? Are you
Mhm.
just photos? Are you just sports highlights? It's like there is a way to break into every single platform, no matter what you're doing.
So, what advice would you give to smaller scaled brands like that that are trying to have a social digital presence?
Yeah, so for a while it was just me. So I was still kind of doing things all by myself. So I do have this experience that you're talking about. And really what I would say is be careful where you set the bar, because you have to give your followers an expectation, and then know that when they follow your page that you're going to be able to keep that coming. So what I'm saying is, you don't want to do too much that you can't keep up with it, because people are going to be like, this is the sloppiest social media page ever. It's like one week they're doing this and the next week they're nowhere to be found. It's like you want to make sure that you set an expectation for yourself, and it's like, okay, I can keep this going consistently, and people are going to be able to follow this page and know that this is what they're going to be able to see on the page. Because once you start doing too much and you can't keep up with it, it's like, okay, this page is kind of just a slop fest of like football coverage, because one week they were doing this and the next week they were MIA on Sunday because they had like family plans. So it's like, if you're going to be a football guy, you better cross off your Sundays, like,
Mhm.
and you just better be at your laptop working all Sunday. Like, if you're going to be a college football person, better clear your Saturdays, because you're going to have to be there and people are going to have an expectation with you. If you're going to be a Mets guy, you better buckle up for 162, because if you're there for 73 of the 162 games, you're not going to win in that space. So that's my big advice, is just set an expectation, make sure you can keep up with it. If it's one post a day, that's fine. If it's one great post per week, wonderful. But don't do 7 posts on Monday and you're not back until Thursday, because then people are like, well, this page is just some guy goofing around. It's
Yeah.
not legit.
Yeah, no doubt. That's awesome, dude. I got another content question that you kind of touched on a little bit. But what's your kind of view and how do you balance that original content that you're talking about with the sort of, I think you refer to it as highlights, or just like
Yeah.
kind of like what people come up on, and just being active and reposting like videos and memes and stuff like that.
Yeah. That is the biggest challenge, because of course people are more interested in the Adolis Garcia home run than they are talking Jake, like giving his opinion on the Adolis Garcia home run, obviously. However, you want to build up your platform that way you can sort of infiltrate it with original content. Because if I was just posting just podcast clips of talking Jake and Trevor Plouffe going back and forth about how amazing Corey Seager is, like, yeah, we'd get a following, but not as large a following as if we were posting every one of Corey Seager's home runs. Because that's just the way it is. Like, obviously, a Corey Seager home run is more engaging than the podcast clips. But if you get people to come for the Corey Seager home runs and stay for the podcast clips, well, now your podcast clips are going to get 3 times the amount of engagement that they would had you never posted the Corey Seager home runs. And people aren't going to be like, what are they talking about? Who are these guys? Like, you might get some of those trolls, but a lot of times it's like, yeah, if I came here for the Corey Seager home run, I'm at least somewhat interested in hearing what someone had to say about it. So it's just all about building up your following. That way you can infiltrate it with your original content, because now people are like, oh, Jomboy's the guy behind this page that posts every single baseball highlight. Good for him. He's got 750,000 Instagram followers. He must be doing something right. I better listen to what he has to say. And that's as best I can really explain that. But it is a difficult thing, because sometimes you see your Tommy Pham quotes get 20,000 likes and your podcast clip gets 1,500. And it's like, well, that's a bummer, but 1,500 is still pretty damn good, because a lot of other people are figuring out how to get 100 likes.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And while we get you out of here, what do you think is sort of will be the platform of the future? Because sometimes, I mean, Facebook looks like it's starting to age out.
Yeah.
Since Elon took over Twitter, it's been a mess.
It's been odd, right?
Yeah.
Bots and stuff.
Yeah.
The NFT.
What do you kind of see about the future of this space?
It's such a tough question to answer, man, because it changes like every 5 years. And TikTok wasn't big 4 years ago, but here it is now. It's probably might be the most popular one, especially with like the younger audience. I bet you in 5 years there's going to be something new that we have no idea. So can I predict it? Absolutely not. However, the one that I do think is most important currently, I would say it's probably Instagram, because you might find someone who is not on TikTok. You might find tons of people who say Facebook's just their parents. You might find someone who's not really that much of a sports fan. They're just casual. So that person's probably not on Twitter, because Twitter's for like the sickos that need all the news. But Instagram is everyone, right? It's hard to find someone who does not have an Instagram. Everyone at least has one, and they might be on it just to post pictures of their family at holidays, but they probably also follow their favorite athletes, celebrities, and like a baseball account or two. So that is the one I think is most important, and the one I think most people have been on for the longest. I bet you a lot of people are using TikTok the most. My girlfriend uses TikTok more than all of them, but she's been on Instagram for 10 years now. So it's like, I think that one's a big deal. And I bet the future's too unpredictable. There's no way I know what's coming.
Mhm.